Deze podcast is powered by ACC ICT, de nummer 1 Kubernetes specialist van Nederland.
Welkom bij de Kubernetes podcast, de podcast over Kubernetes voor iedereen. Ik zit hier met leuke mensen. Het is de laatste aflevering van Kubenetes. Dat is wel heel spannend. Nog steeds zonder Ronald, jammer genoeg. Maar desalniettemin, we hebben Luca Berton en Greg Stencel. Yeah, that's it. So, could you introduce yourselves? Luca.
Yes, welcome everybody. My name is Luca Berton. I'm an IT consultant working in Amsterdam, and I have a lot of expertise in big companies. And we are here because we have a surprise for you.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Greg Stencel. I'm in industry for 17 years. I'm from here, from UK. And I work in banking industry.
Okay. So you have a surprise?
Oh, yes. I think the best part is we are here to present you our latest book, Kubernetes Recipes, and we are super excited to share with you some insights.
Okay. Cool. So a new book. And Kubernetes Recipes. So what's it about?
So it's a cookbook. So it's a style that focuses more on practicality and things that you can reuse in your day-to-day experience. Because we noticed that there are wonderful books around about the theory, about how to do the networking of a pod and have everything, all the nitty-gritty. But, I mean, personally, we were struggling a little bit to find a real example in the real world. And we came out with this idea, and we found this editor was happy to carry on.
And how long did you do about writing this book?
So we started working together on January, I believe.
I think it was a year ago. Luca approached me because we worked in the same company a year ago, and he approached me, said, "Oh, you are Kubernetes CCAT certified. Would like to write a book with me?" And I said, never wrote a book. It was quite challenging. And Luca already had like 10 books published. So he just brought me to the writing book industry. And I said, let's do it. And I thought we're going to deliver it quite fast. But because of the daily job, I could only spare time at night. So from when my son goes to bed, I could only spend 2 hours at night. So it took 1 year, I think, to write half book, because I wrote half, Luca wrote half. So I would say if I had to write it alone, for me it would be 2 years, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I think that it worked perfectly because we were able, but we split the work equally based on our area of expertise or where we were a little bit more confident about. And the final book is impressive, it's more than 400 pages.
So and you said expertise. What is your expertise then?
Oh, well, I work a lot with Kubernetes during my career. Yes. So I'm more concerned about some area about the storage, some area about the new part. I'm really fascinated about how AI is taking over, how AI and Kubernetes work together. And I know that Greg is super good on the networking, but also at other areas you did a great contribution.
My expertise was always, since Docker showed up, containerizing applications and trying out new stuff like Docker Swarm, which didn't work quite well. I also played with Rancher and the Cattle, and which also didn't work. So I think the Kubernetes was the future. And I always try to vouch for Kubernetes. And in company I work for, I offered the learning sessions for Kubernetes. And I can talk about it now. So I created the system for internal learning Kubernetes. So it was looking kind of like Katacoda, if you have seen Katacoda. It was spinning the clusters. It was spinning the user training modules. So if you wanted to learn Kubernetes, it was going into the cluster, creating namespace per user after authorization of user, and user had namespace to play with Kubernetes, creating services, creating pods. And I can only speak about that because it's got patented. So I've got patent for my company, not for myself, well, under my name.
He's an innovator.
So this is, I'm highly dedicated, and there was no tool we could actually use, external tool, because the whole thing, how it works in enterprise, is completely locked out. So the Kubernetes flavor inside big corporations is completely different, especially in banking. It's highly regulated. Everything needs to be rewritten. A lot of stuff needs to be removed from cybersecurity perspective, from regulations perspective. So, yeah.
Okay, and then that's interesting. We'll keep that in mind. So you both wrote this book about Kubernetes recipes. You said, but what can I expect if I turn open the book?
Well, I would love you to open the book and give us a honest feedback about it.
Of course.
So what you expect is, I don't know if you're familiar with the cookbook format. Is more like there is one description of a problem, one solution, like step by step, breaking down, and also some point where you can get more deeper about the topic, because most of the book that we were using day to day, they're wonderful, but they were written a few years ago. And some technologies evolved a little bit. I'm thinking about, for example, Cilium, that is that got popular and familiar in the last period of time. And there are things that we really wanted to include, for example. So you can expect things that you can easily copy and paste, or, for example, how to deploy Kubernetes in the hyperscalers, where Google has an automatic process that I didn't find in any books, for example.
Okay. And how are you going to keep your book up to date? Because you just said there are other books, they're not that complete as our book.
Well, we are hoping to do a second edition and keeping up to date the content.
Okay.
There are some restrictions in the industry. When you are published with an ISBN, you can't alter the table of content. So you can add the new thing, but you can't actually remove what is already there.
Oh, that's a difficult thing to write out. Also, how do you write then to keep your book up to date and still write that it's...
Yeah, what if something was deprecated? This is my first book, so I have no idea. Luke is expert. But what if something was deprecated? You cannot remove it from the book?
It is a little bit complicated because, you can create another book. This is what a lot of people does, but technically from that series you can't. So this is, we came along with this idea, and we were like... we actually wanted to include a lot of more things. I remember that the first draft that we did together, how it works with... I want to see more book in the industry, because I think that we all every day learn we have some lesson learned from our day-to-day job. And what I would love to see is more expertise and more practical way.
Okay, because I was thinking about why a book? Why not videos? Why a book?
If you think about a book, it's taking some time to write. There is a technical reviewer that tested all the code of a book, The code that is inside is battle tested, and most of the videos are like only a small POC. But it doesn't have all the philosophy. Like a book is from the beginning to the end. So it's something, I'm telling you a story. I'm telling you the way how I see Kubernetes, the way how I upskill myself, the way how I learned, my point of view about this technology. So I'm telling you a story, and it's a consistent. When you see a video, it's only you're solving only one solution, only one part, and maybe you saw a video of another guy that is having a completely different approach, and sometimes they don't fit together.
Okay. For example, I've got your book. What is your great story? What's in your book? What you can share, of course.
Great story. I know. So we try to familiarize people who are new to Kubernetes too with all the tools they can use. So from developer experience, like there are great tools like Kubelens. There are great virtualization tools, like for instance vCluster. So we have also put these tools to the book so people are aware when they are starting with Kubernetes. And we have also some more advanced topics, how to create custom controllers, custom CRDs. So the book is like for beginners and for more advanced users of Kubernetes too, for administrators, for application developers. So, want to add something?
Yeah, I think that the best part is that all the code is also available in a public repository. So everybody can take inspiration without buying actually the book.
Oké.
Kost het beheer van Kubernetes je veel tijd en expertise? Maak kennis met ACC ICT. Zij ontzorgen je volledig met managed Kubernetes diensten op elke cloud. Gecertificeerde specialisten zorgen voor compleet beheer, 24/7 support en optimale beveiliging. Jij kunt je focussen op je core business, terwijl je Kubernetes-omgeving in betrouwbare handen is. Manage Kubernetes van ACC ICT. Jouw zorg, onze expertise. Bezoek accict.com.
And that's also awesome. Because you said practical examples. So, what is then a practical problem? For example, you describe in your book.
Well, there are each chapter has 6-7 problem and solution. So we started from how to configure the kube control, how to interface with a cluster, how to set up some storage, how to have the volume definition, how you can interface with NFS storage, how you can start your Kubernetes with a hyperscaler, how you deploy a cluster with kind, how to there are so many things, how to run an application with stateful, stateless, how to run a database inside a cluster, and things getting a little bit more spicy, especially with the newest trend that are emerging.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, in every single chapter, we try to identify the most common problems users have in this specific, deployment of application or creating the cluster. So we try to get the most common problems. So we were researching what the most asked questions, for instance, are on Stack, and we tried to write this in the solution problem recipes.
What is the most asked question then?
I don't remember. We have like 13 chapters. So for each chapter, we have specific problems.
Indeed.
So probably the best way is to just buy a book and check on your own.
Of course. But so I am a new guy or advanced, a bit advanced. Is it really, really advanced? or it's more
It's
the
more intermediate, I would say.
intermediate.
media guys, and so I can use your book to have scenarios which I can follow to learn the Kubernetes stack. Is this book also a way to get your exam? One of the exams, because you've got like 4 or 5 exams, and is this a way up for the CKA?
So I had CKAD. It expired last year. So I did it 3 years ago. I think that it was valid for 2 years. And I could say it could help from application developer point of view a little bit. I cannot say you by book you pass the exam, because it's not everything in the book as it was on CCAT 3 years ago. I know because it abrogated probably. So we definitely didn't write it to pass the CCAT CKA. And I don't know, there are 2 new courses released by CNF, the Cloud Native Developer. It was just announced. So it could help. But definitely we cannot say you'll pass if you buy the book. It's not the target audience.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to have a more practical aspect. So we didn't, somehow writing a certification book force you to stay only on topic that somebody decide, and some solution taking an approach only one way. We would love to, the approach that we took was more like from the industry, from our experience. So it's kind of like, hey, we want to talk about things that really matter. And sometimes we were like fighting about the newest trend about the running machine learning models, and what is the best approach. Are we using Knative? Are you using different? There are so many different solutions nowadays, and we were trying to include the one that make more sense for us.
So your book focuses more on the application and the application developer than running an LLM or that kind of stuff. Because I just had a podcast with how to run an LLM in Kubernetes, and I think that's pretty different. It's really different than running an application in Kubernetes.
I wouldn't say it's only for application developer, because we still have some chapters there from administrator point of view. So with creating the custom CRDs and controllers, so you can still find how to change your cluster to fit your needs.
And also operators?
Yeah.
So how to build your own operator?
Yeah, you have it all in the book. Yeah, so we specify point by point, and you can just go and apply it. So it will be applied to the control plane, and you will have your own CRDs and operators.
Good stuff. That brings me to my final questions. How do you see the future of Kubernetes and your book, Luca?
Well, I was browsing around KubeConf, try to find the answer to this question. Because, one of the reasons to attending this big event is exactly this, talking with as many people as possible, try to understand the stories behind and the reason why they took one career path or another, or why they make some choice. And my key takeaways after 2 days of walking around 20,000 steps every day and try to speak with as many people as possible. I have also this YouTube channel, so I try to interview people and try to understand what they are doing. And they come from all over the world. It's quite interesting. This in London is that Kubernetes and AI make a lot of sense, because running machine learning model at scale require solving some problem that we already solved in the DevSec world. So it makes a lot of sense from the lifecycle management, And so I see a lot of adoption in the future. I see Kubernetes getting more involved on artificial intelligence, but I see also a lot of observability. There is definitely a demand because our application become more complex and we need to have more understanding on where they spend more time and how we can optimize and getting better. Ultimately, to deliver a great experience to our user, customer, the final person, because we are human. We build the software from human to human.
Yeah, of course. And Greg?
I don't know what future is. No one knows. But I think we as the Kubernetes community need to do a little bit more around developer experience for our Kubernetes users and administrators. So having like seamless way to change the clusters, deploy applications to the clusters. Because the common thing in enterprise world, the application developers, if they are Python programmers, they have to actually go through the whole certification just to deploy to Kubernetes. And they never, if you are a Python developer, for instance, for years, you've never done infrastructure, you don't know networks, suddenly you are being dropped on this space when you don't know how networks work, how infrastructure works together. And you are asked, now you need to move your application to Kubernetes. So you are kind of scared. And I think the developer experience is one point. The other point is the maintenance of Kubernetes. So the cluster upgrades is the biggest pain point. So the cluster upgrading. So these are big pain points. And I think that also needs to be solved. So, but for bright future, I think I've seen a lot of good stuff around AI and GPU utilization, and a lot of good startups here when I visited expos, which are going towards LLM and serving LLM in Kubernetes. And I think Kubernetes will be perfect fit to do the sharding of the models. If you can offer something like that, that would be great. If you don't have enough power on single GPU, if you connect it and if you could load, I'm just talking about the 4090, for instance, NVIDIA, the consumer. I'm not talking about what I've seen today, because they had like really huge, expensive NVIDIA graphic cards, like H100 or something, or A100s. So no one can afford one. But if you are thinking from perspective, building some clusters as hobbyist or normal user, it would be also good to have something to get some cluster you can connect your GPUs to. So there's a lot of going on. I think it's called Exo Explore. So they are already creating something like that. I think with that thing with Kubernetes, it will be like the killer for the LLMs.
Cool. I think a new book is in the making.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much.
Deze podcast is een initiatief van ACC ICT en wij zijn te beluisteren op onze website k8spodcast.nl, via Spotify, Apple en alle andere favoriete podcastproviders.